what's up? I'm all good, man. I'm looking for Zain, yeah.
What are you doing here?
Where have you been?
How's that work?
Do you know who's waiting for you here?
No. That's today?
Yeah, Chrysler is here. We're gonna go over the Regera.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
Zain, how are you? Good to
Doing
see
good.
you. Man, long time no see.
Yeah, nice to see you
Wow.
finally.
Wow.
How's everything?
Yeah, good. Oh, you have the Koenigsegg Regeras.
I do.
But you don't have this. This is what you get when you work there 20 years, huh?
Wait. Why didn't I get one of those?
Well, maybe off the next car.
Okay.
So I checked out. Everything is perfect on your car. It's like it's brand new.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow, you got those as well?
Yeah.
You as American, tell me, what is this heavy duty? I know the car is heavy,
Yeah.
but what's heavy duty?
So we have, that goes hand in hand with something we call supersize.
Ah.
So you pull up to a fast food restaurant and then you ask for supersize me. And then it just makes sure that you have your long-term investment secured as you continue to add to your heavy duty weight that this car should be able to handle.
No, because the last couple of times
Yeah.
I've been in US, I asked
Yeah.
for a big American V8,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
rental always gives me this.
Yeah.
It's awesome to drive, but very tight to park in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you should try parking it in Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's better to drive your Ducati.
It is.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. In Sweden, that motorbike is very popular.
That is the
It's the-
newest, latest Vice.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about it is the compactability of me
Yeah.
being able to carry my favorite bag with me everywhere I go. Right.
And that's the right
And
brand
I'm
of
told
bag.
only 4 people have this.
Yeah.
One is me, the other is you.
Yeah.
And I let people figure out who the other 2 are.
Yeah.
At Koenigsegg. Right.
So,
But
yeah.
no, this bike is honestly such a convenient thing to have more than anything else,
Yeah.
and you do it in style.
Yeah.
Very important to be safe and be a safe rider. I was wearing jeans and of course regular clothing when I pulled up,
Yeah.
but that's just because I'm riding on these
Yeah.
low streets.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
I
would
get
never
that.
ever do that
Yeah.
on fast-paced roads, freeways, etc. But man, I absolutely love this thing.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people driving down Miami
Yeah.
with shorts and just fall over at the red light
Yeah.
and the skin is gone.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
better be careful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is no joke. Even going 35, 40 miles per hour,
Yeah.
the friction, you feel it. Doesn't matter how good of a rider you are. A small little miscalculation, mistake
Yeah.
can just lead to just fucking up your whole life. And it's just not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome machine, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's look at your awesome machine you
Yeah.
have in the garage here
yeah,
also, no?
yeah, let's pull that
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Give back to these children
Yeah.
like Dream Rides,
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish,
Yeah.
etc. to experience just joy in their life that
Yeah.
could even lead to a miracle, right? Because I personally believe life is a miracle. It's all
Yeah.
about that iron will
of course.
that you
Yeah, yeah.
have. And you would be surprised how many like personal experiences I've had where just because a kid was given the hope to be able to one day drive their dream car by experiencing that through somebody who's
Yeah.
a owner, including myself,
Yeah.
gave them the fight and the will
Yeah.
to live on, right?
Yeah.
In many cases, it doesn't happen, but in a lot of cases, it's enough to get them to keep fighting.
Yeah.
So anything that you have that's charity, giving back,
Yeah.
especially to kids,
Yeah.
you don't even have to ask. I'm there.
That's why on the 10th I can't be here
Yeah.
because I'm going to Sweden
Yeah.
and we are getting 2 kids with family over here to Dream Ride to Connecticut. And then they got to do the whole also New York experience, go on Broadway, drive with us in
Yeah.
their dream car.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool event. And that's why the big guys are coming in there
Yeah.
as well because it's so well planned, so
Yeah.
well organized.
I would love to be a part of that. In fact, those are the type of things I want to dedicate
Appreciate
my
it.
time to.
Appreciate
No,
it.
I
Thank
do.
you. Yeah.
And if the more we can do that, representing
Yeah.
the Koenigsegg brand
Yeah.
and together,
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately what this is all
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
So send me the dates. I'm gonna firm it up. I don't even
Yeah.
care about the transport. Like I'll cover all of that. But
No, you don't
we'll
have to
bring the
because
car.
I organize it there.
Yeah. But I mean, on the way
Yeah.
back,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I'll take care of it. It's no problem. And
We have 3-4 owners that are going from
Yeah.
here around here,
Yeah.
so we can
Yeah.
organize and
Yeah.
split the truck on the way
Yeah,
back
on the way back, for
on
sure.
4 or 5 people.
Yeah, let's
so
do it.
then it's all good.
yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
Okay,
I can't
cool.
wait.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's get this baby out in the front.
looks so good
Under
in
the
the
sun,
sun.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this clear carbon.
Sounds so
Jesus,
good too.
yeah. One question though.
Yes, please.
Your Senna,
Yeah.
I noticed it's the same colors.
Yeah.
Did you order the Senna to match the Regera or?
Yes, let's go with that. The Senna was first before the Regera.
Yeah.
But I always knew that that's the Regera I wanted, so we kind of worked backwards. But
okay.
it was funny enough. Senna came just plain exposed carbon, right?
Oh.
And the only thing that this car, from a color perspective, had
Yeah.
was these right here. That was all done by McLaren.
Okay.
And the back wing was red. Everything else was just complete plain black.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
And then what I had done was, to match the Regera,
Yeah.
I had some additional red accents added to it, which are the striping in the
Yeah.
front, the pinstriping at the bottom, and then, funny enough, most people don't realize this. They think that this was factory, but actually this inside part, this has been done aftermarket.
This is very good idea. This looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks
But
very good.
I'll tell you something really cool about this car. So for me, it's always something that's to the heart of you as a car collector.
Yeah.
And this car, McLaren created it to give you the same exhilaration and the feeling that Ayrton Senna had when he was racing. And I can tell you that they delivered on it. Like, you drive this car, and you should later today, you feel what Ayrton would have felt when he was driving the car. So the cool thing that is not seen, and I have never spoken about this publicly, but I'm going to show it today because we have a great man in our presence.
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank
have
you.
the motto actually here that you won't be able to see. So if you look closely enough, it actually says dedication, determination, perfection. And so when the door comes up, but if I close it,
Oh
you
yeah,
look
I see
down
that.
there,
Yeah.
it has the motto of Ayrton Senna. And I talked to Bruno Senna, who's his nephew, about ultimately a life philosophy that Ayrton had. So for me, it's always a reminder, because at the end of the day, you start with being dedicated to your craft, right? And this will speak to Koenigsegg as a brand and Christian as well. Then you stay determined through all the adversity, all the challenges that you feel.
Exactly,
And then you ultimately start pursuing perfection.
But I guess that fits on you also.
Absolutely.
So what I know, you started
Yeah.
from like $2 and worked all this stuff together yourself.
I wish I had $2. I had negative.
Negative
but,
$2.
Yes, I had absolutely nothing. So my start was very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
My mom worked 3 jobs to raise us kids. My dad walked out when I was 12 years old.
Sorry.
But it's okay, because it all shapes us
Yeah.
to be who we want to
Yeah.
be, right? And I love a quote that Larry Ellison shared, which is, I have had all the disadvantages to be required for my success.
Okay, cool.
And so no regrets, but started from nothing, worked in tech for a few years, almost a decade, just learning the craft, had a senior leadership position at Yahoo, then had multiple different jobs after that, and ultimately founded Adam, being a technology services company. Without taking any seed money, any investments, anything. Till today, Adam has not taken any investments whatsoever.
You sound a little bit like Christian.
Absolutely,
he works that way as well.
yes.
But you're in the technology,
Yeah.
and he on cars.
And
well,
that-
both are technologies. So.
And when I could buy my first, let's call it big, mega hypercar, I turned to Koenigsegg because of that philosophy for Christian.
Oh,
and just studying Christian and how he started. Most people don't know the Ghost Squadron is from the old abandoned Air Force base, right? That Koenigsegg moved into, and it all ties back to that motto.
Cool. One question though, the big elephant in the room here. This car, I travel around a lot and meet a lot of customers because our customers are very wealthy around the whole world. And I kind of know this car comes from somebody famous, doesn't it? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Well, we won't say exactly who,
Yeah.
but let's just say this car came with a little bit of a diplomatic immunity when I first bought it. When I bought this car, it comes from Dubai. So very unique spec.
Yeah.
The only McLaren P1 with a satin McLaren orange paint that McLaren did on this car.
Yeah.
It is VIN 005.
Wow.
So that in itself is huge, right? So this comes from a royal family from Dubai. It was imported into the US. That's why it has a very unique spec.
Yeah.
The interior is color matched to the exterior, gray accents, everything.
No, but I know because I meet all the customers around the world, so
Yeah.
I know some history on some cars,
Yeah.
and I see that cars move around the world here and there. So that's
No, it
pretty
comes
cool
from
to see old friend.
The previous owner is an amazing guy,
Yeah.
and he reached out to me. We haven't talked much, but this is an homage to my father as well. So
Oh, okay.
you asked about the colors. All the Hypercars are going to be exposed carbon fiber in my
Okay.
collection.
Yeah.
All the supercars, like my Lamborghini Revuelto, is matte black, and all the other cars are matte black. This
okay.
is the only orange car,
Yeah.
and that's because orange was my dad's favorite color.
Oh, cool.
And he
cool.
passed away a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
so this was as a homage to him.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
And also McLarens, they look good in their color.
They do, absolutely.
And by the way,
this is the color.
Koenigseggs also, we have pretty cool orange cars
Yeah,
as well.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt
Yeah.
it.
So let's forget about this stuff and look at your car.
Let's look at the car that we're here for.
Yeah.
So, Christopher, I know the car is beautiful.
Yeah,
But,
I can't find any
Yeah.
damages on it.
There won't be.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it looks like a brand new car.
Yeah.
But I know it's a couple of years, of course. But
Yes.
everybody takes such a good care.
Absolutely, and I'm really amazed that you picked up on that. That camera, come closer. So one of the comments on the last video was how the carbon looks really good in person and all of that bullshit, but it can't survive the streets. This carbon looks brand spanking new, and that's after having tracked this car at Sonoma Raceway, having tracked it at COTA, having driven it on the freeway hard and on the street, and it looks absolutely new. So the fact that you notice that, it's a pretty big deal.
Most people don't know that, but carbon is super hard.
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
made of carbon?
Diamonds? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so carbon is actually very hard. So if you see the rims, this is pure carbon, no epoxy or anything. So you sand away all the epoxy. There's no clear coat, no protection at all. This is just pure carbon. So if you feel it, it feels more metallic than the other carbon because you're touching the carbon atoms themselves, and they are super strong. And not a single rim has taken any damage on any Koenigseggs because it's so hard. Rather than, this is like not the KNC version, so this is clear coated carbon. And the clear coat is softer than the carbon. So usually that takes damage.
Absolutely.
But you can still fill in the clear coat. But here is nothing protecting the carbon. That's just the pure carbon. And there are a couple of cars in the world, 3 of them are in Switzerland, that the whole car is KNC, naked carbon like that. And you've probably seen them on YouTube and stuff like that. And they drive the cars incredibly hard. And there is no carbon damage on them. So these guys up there are absolutely trashing the car around on tracks and everything, and it still looks new. So people have the little bit wrong perception about carbon. It depends how you bake it. So
absolutely. So I want to talk about the wheels a little bit, and it's a really good point that you make because this has PPF on it, right? Like the best PPF I could find, it's been done. The wheels don't.
No.
And there's really, if you think about it, not even a single scratch on there, right? And if you look at it, you can't find it. And so that's a really, really good point. And it just goes to speak to the build quality. Now, this is a hollow rim. Inside, right?
Yeah, so all our rims are hollow.
How does that affect the overall reliability of the wheel?
So
especially when you track
hollowness in the right, if it's round or in a triangle, it's the strongest formation in the nature. So by being hollow is actually stronger than it would be solid. Solid is also a weight disadvantage since it would be a lot heavier. All the philosophy behind the design of the cars that Christian takes, does it make the car heavier? because if it makes it heavier, you need more horsepower.
yeah, yeah.
So we try to make it as light as possible. Hence also the cost of the cars.
Yeah.
Firstly, all Koenigsegg are 100% hand built. There are no machines or shops or that automatically presses stuff. It's everything made by hand.
Wow.
That takes a long time.
Yeah.
That's why the delivery times on a car like this
Yeah.
are between 2 and 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it takes 3,000-4,000 hours.
But you're
man
hand
time.
building it. Yeah. Yeah.
And
it shows.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's attention to detail. Like for example, in the early days, the epoxy that keeps the carbon pieces together could not withstand so much heat.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that has been developed, so we have more and more carbon parts on the engine, on the intakes and things like that, because they can handle higher temperatures.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the rims. But we have gold on the backside here to reflect.
Yeah.
the
I actually
heat
just
back.
noticed that for the first time a little bit.
Yeah, so the whole inside of the rim is covered with gold,
Yeah.
24 carats,
Wow.
just to reflect off some of the heat.
Yeah. So that's
from the
crazy. I
brakes.
had no idea.
Yeah.
So
But it's a very thin layer, not to make it too
yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
And then the design behind the Regera is there is no gearbox.
Yeah.
So that was Christian's idea, because he wanted to do a hybrid car. But then if you put in batteries and things and gearboxes, everything gets so heavy.
Yeah.
So by deleting the gearbox out of the car, we could take some of the weight and put it into the batteries instead.
Yeah. And you feel it, by the way. So the car it's the craziest feeling ever, because most cars, the faster you go, the more resistance you feel. This car just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. I've never felt anything like going 100 miles per hour and you're just at 150 and then at 200, right? With no stall, no lag, nothing.
So the reason of this is because the 3 electric motor in the car, there's one on the crankshaft on the V8 and 2 on each side of the differential in the back. They help the V8 at low RPMs, because electric motors have a lot of torque at low RPM. The V8, the torque kicks in at higher RPMs, and that's what you feel. So when you are above 80, 100 miles an hour, the car gives most of the torque from the V8. That's why it's so incredibly fast in those higher speeds, because it gets the max torque from the V8 and the electric motors as well. So they are working combined together. The electric motor on the crankshaft, that is starter motor, generator, all in one. So it helps to start the car, keeps more torque at lower speeds, and also charges the high volt battery. So when we invented this, this is the first 800 volt car in the world.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, and you can pull 500 kilowatts out of that battery, and that has been unheard of.
Oh, absolutely.
Now cars are catching up slowly, but some people ask me, why is this? Why do you put all this energy, develop this technology? But if you think about it, hypercars in the 70s, 80s, those type of technologies are in the modern cars today. And it trickles down so everybody takes advantage of it. So the technology we have in here, you can get in a regular car as well in maybe 10 years, and helps to keep the air clean, and you get more performance out of the engines. So all of this that, let's say, the rich people pay today benefits even the regular people in the future. People forget to talk about that. So this is a good thing for you to buy. You're going to have the fun. I can never afford one. I get to drive them because of you. But still, regular people will benefit from the technology in a couple of years.
Well, I think that's a very important, amazing point, because if you look at this car, it's the pinnacle of what's possible today, right? But then it leads or paves the way for us to then be able to take that same technology and put it into the next generation of supercars, and then ultimately the next generation of regular cars that hit the streets.
But people don't understand how exactly this works, but it's easily then you are constantly driving 7th gear. So that's what you're doing on a regular car.
Yeah.
But people go, how can you drive in 7th gear? I can't even start in 2nd.
Yeah.
Because the car has so much torque, you can do that.
Yeah.
Like say you drive 70 miles an hour or something like that, if you're allowed to do that. And then you pull the left lever on the steering wheel, the left paddle, the KDD will release inside, and the torque converter, and because how physics works, you get twice the torque from the V8 instantly, and you get insane acceleration. And then we have a pretty cool feature when you drive on the track, and you're in track mode, and then something, let's say, powered with a W16 passes you on the side, and you can't have that, right?
No.
So then you pull on the lever, you get an extra 400 horsepower boost, and that is wild.
So at Coda, there is one long straightaway, and I hit somewhere around 175, 179 in the Senna. And I did it on the Regera, and did what you just described, you know, and you got the effects and everything. Easily over 200. And it wasn't even the craziest thing. You know what the craziest thing was? When the Senna was going over 179, the car went like this, right? Started shaking. This, right? Completely stable. No shaking, nothing. And it goes back to the aerodynamics and how light the car is.
And also the way the car is designed to be mechanical stable. So
for sure.
You've probably seen the videos where Christian drives a car in 150 miles an hour and just slams the brake without the hands on the steering wheel. Although it's a rough road, the car still goes straight. So that helps a lot, and of course we have the traction system and all that as well. To you know, safety is
let's
the
go
most
try
important
it.
thing.
I'm just kidding.
But we might do that someday. But we have to find a place to do it.
Yeah, with not this many palm trees there. Right?
Yeah, we have to be a little bit safer.
Yeah, we will.
Anywho, the show mode on this car, Ghost mode. I don't know. Most people have probably seen it, but please show it.
Okay. Here we go. Such a incredible engineering achievement right here.
People think that all these features make the car heavier.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But it actually makes it lighter.
No way. You're
because
kidding.
we have the hydraulic system in the car already for suspension and everything, right? So we use that oil to power the other things here.
Wow.
And the pistons that open front hood, for example, is lighter because it has no steel parts in it in that way. It has only oil that pushes through. So it's actually lighter.
So what Christer just mentioned right there, is the difference between engineering and functional engineering, because they already have the hydraulics in the car, and now you're repurposing that for something like this, which speaks to when you build something that's end-to-end a solution and connected, and it applies just as much into tech. And I gotta be honest with you, so much of what I tried, so Christian, you build these exotic mega hypercars. I build software, right? But that same philosophy, I'll look at this car and put it into the way we build software. Is how much can we repurpose? How much efficient can we make things while making it sexy?
You don't do spaghetti basic code
exactly.
then.
Absolutely. No, hell no.
So here in the rear, you can see that the V8 sits all the way in there. It's a true center engine and very, very low. So the center of the gravity of this car is very, very low. And on each side here, it has one electric motor.
So let me ask you something before we go there. So right there where the engine is, and come closer and show that, it says 111. That's basically a lucky sign number for people to buy this car. I'm just kidding. What does that mean, Christopher?
So the 1.1 megawatt.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
That's the power of the car.
Yeah.
So when we did the first 1-to-1 car, which had the power to weight ratio 1-to-1, it was the first car in the world ever. It had 1,360 horsepower, and that's 1 megawatt.
Yeah.
So Christian said, all right, let's put that on the engine, 1 megawatt.
Yeah.
And all the following cars, we have the megawatt number on the engine.
Yeah. Wow.
So some of them have 1 megawatt, some 1.2 megawatt.
Gotcha.
It depends on what type.
Yeah.
And you were talking about you want to upgrade your car
Yeah.
with the Ghost package
Yeah.
and the more power on the car.
Yeah.
Then that number won't be 1.11 anymore. So you will have another number there.
Yeah, gotcha.
And we'll see what you get when you are there.
Yeah. Well, can't wait to see that number.
Yeah. So also all this is pure art. Let's say example, the rear hood here is made in one huge piece. So because if it's made in one piece, it's a lot lighter. You can make it stronger that way.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more expensive if something happens to the hood because you have to replace the whole hood.
Yeah.
And especially
Well, we
when
won't let that happen.
No.
Yeah. What is this? What is the vent here? What is this cooling?
Yeah. So most people think when they see the Regera, there's the exhaust.
Yeah.
But that's not actually exhaust.
Yeah.
That's the exhaust for the electronic, the DC-DC, AC-DC converter for the electric motors. The exhaust is actually here.
Yeah.
So these big baffles. So because this car does not have a gearbox or clutch, you cannot sit and rev it.
Yep.
So when you're parked, people tell, oh, rev it, rev it.
All the time. Yeah.
But the Regera can't rev because if you give it some, it takes off immediately.
Yeah.
So we developed this exhaust together with Akropovic to make the best possible sound when the car idles and drives at slower speeds.
Yeah.
Because when you drive through the city in 30 miles an hour or 40 or whatever it is here, the engine is still idling.
Yep.
So the only thing that's actually propelling the car are the electric motors at the lower speeds.
Yeah.
And that's why the exhausts are that way they are. But to get back to your question, it comes through here and there's cooling here, and it goes through and comes out the other way. So it cools the converters for the electric motors.
Yeah. So this is really cool because when the car is all mounted, right, closed, you see this vent and now I'm noticing it matches up perfectly over there.
Yeah. So because it generates a lot of heat, so you have these two, they convert up to then 500 kilowatt of power for the electric motors, and that generates also the same amount of heat. So you could actually heat the whole house with that energy that goes through
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane, but it makes sense with that much power here.
Yeah.
I also just noticed it has a Öhlins suspension, which is the same as what we have on the Ducati.
Yeah, so Öhlins is a Swedish brand, and they make the best suspension in the world. That's why almost every race car, every motorbike have them.
Actually
but they make the pistons for us and the reservoir, all the electronics, if you see, there's a Koenigsegg logo on it. So we do all the electronics and the controls and the valves for it. So we control the rebound and everything on the depending on the settings you have in the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And up there, the big carbon piece there is the air intake with the air filters, the air boxes on each side.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Where's the high voltage battery?
So the high volt battery is between the both seats in the tunnel,
so
between
it's over
the seats.
there. Okay, I got you.
And it's all the way down on the floor to also get the weight down, and you have the center of gravity in the center of the car.
Yeah, understood. Why 4?
Yeah, so when the car starts, it will force the exhaust through the little catalytic converter, and that one heats up a lot quicker than the big one.
But that's pretty insane because I never heard of a car having 2 catalytic converters on one exhaust.
We are the ones that started with this. So the small converter that's on the car it gets heated up first and very quickly because it's small. And then when you get up to temperature, the exhaust start going through the big catalytic converter as well. And that's to meet all the EPA standards and all that.
Which makes sense because of the power that this engine is producing. So that's something that nobody would have known, is that this car has 4 Cadillac converters. So when Cadillac converters,
small Cadillacs.
Exactly. 4 small Cadillacs.
I've been saying catalytic converters for years, but I still stumble over the word. And you can see here is the electric flap. So that one can control the exhaust.
So I was wondering what that is. So now when we straight pipe this thing, we have to remove 4 times the catalytic converters from this, right?
Exactly. And there's one on each side.
Which is just a joke. If Christian ever watches this, I would never straight pipe this car.
No. Monitor the back pressure of the whole exhaust system constantly and match also the injectors together with that. So the whole system won't work properly if you straight pipe cars. People do that a lot and you actually lose power. It sounds louder, but it's not better.
And many people don't get that. So all these SVJs and naturally aspirated F12s that you see, and people are doing all these straight pipe things to it, it's not making the car faster. It's all gimmicks. It sounds louder, it shoots off fires, but you're actually losing performance. And so on hypercars, you wouldn't want to do that because they're engineered to such precision that it's taking away from the whole experience of the car, especially this car. And I'll tell you, Chris, or something, like my Senna P1, I always feel like, okay, maybe I want to add more sound or more you know, make it louder. I've never felt that about this car because of what you explained about how the exhausts are designed, and at the low speeds, high speeds, the way the car sounds, and we were talking about this earlier, you can hear this thing coming from a mile away.
But just to put things straight, if we would do a track version, and we as factory...
Is that a hint over here on something?
I don't know, but if we would do a track version, and we would from the factory straight pipe it, and we would program the car after those back pressures, of course it would make more horsepower then.
For sure.
But if you as a private person just change it, the car will run worse. And that's the most important thing.
It goes back to that precision engineering, right?
Exactly.
Because you're not just removing something, you're tuning the car to follow along with the subtraction of that thing. But if you ever do make a track version, sign me up for exposed carbon with red accents.
Of course, I will tell Christian when I get back to the factory next week.
I will be your test driver.
I will tell him, if we ever make a track car, you want one. I will tell him.
Imagine that, a track version of the Regera.
There is one track version, you know, the old CCX that we have as a track car, the white one. That's actually here in US.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's a very cool guy who owns it, who lives up by New York.
By Jersey. I think I know,
favorite Koenigsegg of all Koenigseggs.
Just same here.
To drive it and the way it behaves on the road, it's just such a pleasure to drive it. And that's not only because I work at Koenigsegg, it's easy to say that, but all our cars have certain gimmicks. But this is weighted so well, and when you drive long haul with this one, you still come there refreshed, and it's not super loud in the car, and you feel good. And also, you know,
it's
most
people,
most people don't actually know that, but on almost all Koenigseggs, you can remove the roof and put it in the front.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. And then we'll get inside and talk about the car from inside.
All right. And then you can let it go and give it to me.
There you go.
I'm happy with it. But you don't know what it is. I can get you one.
That would be awesome.
Because
that's the main reason why I haven't been taking this off.
You put it in like this, and you make sure it's completely aligned here. That's all.
So
and close it.
Very easy. And then this just goes straight down, and then that just shows you it's precise.
But you still have space for a couple of sports bags in here.
It
looks smaller than it is, but you see the hood goes up in here, so it fits.
Let's test it out. I have a perfect bag.
Oh, you do?
That we can put in there.
Okay. It's probably the gift from Haldora and Christian that I brought with me.
All right, there we go.
His new work tool,
this
the
is
computer bag,
So this is all you need, right? Because you're just going to work. So you can make money to buy more Koenigseggs. Boom. That easy.
But Just for real, that bag is awesome because it's so sturdy.
It is.
And I just chuck it around everywhere.
And I noticed.
And you get the patina on it, but
yeah.
it looks awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. It's an update on the car. And I just go ahead and do it. And now you can see here in the display, it will tell you how many days you can park the car with the battery life. So this one will tell you, right now, we drove a little bit and so it says 13 days, but normally it's around 25, 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too.
Without any charges. In the software, you know, the car has 36 computers.
Yeah.
They are everywhere. We have our own proprietary CAN bus system, the fastest in the world.
Wow.
So the computers talk with each other everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you ask, why do we have so many computers? Yeah, because it saves weight.
Yeah.
Because if you have a lot of copper cable running around in the car, it weighs a lot.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot of cables, of course, with all the electronics in the car, but we can save a lot. And also, we can do more features with these small computers. You can tell if the window is down, then do this, and the door opens, and all this. Well, you're in programming.
Yeah. I've tried to understand your software so much, and it's one of the reasons why I love this car. Even the OTA, right? The over-the-air updates.
Yeah.
I was like, how are they doing this without connecting to Wi-Fi? And then I found out that there's actually a cellular chip in the car that's connected, and it's then obviously shooting information. And the other thing that I noticed, which I'd love to hear you talk more about, is most of the issues can be diagnosed online, right?
Yeah.
And
so
that's pretty cool.
If you are driving around in your car somewhere in the world and you park it, or while you're driving and a serious error happens in the car, it of course will come up on your display, but it will send it also to the factory.
Yeah.
And a technician will contact you or your dealer, depending how you have set up, and explain to you, we need to service the car, we need to do this or something before something major happens. So we can see on the car if it actually one bank of the cylinders are running hot or not. We can see the high volt battery if it's very unbalanced. Or let's say you go for a world tour and you forget your car in the garage here. It's thought that you have refueled the car. So hood goes up, right? And if you refuel the car and you drip on the side of the filling and vapor comes around the engine, the car on purpose waits 20 seconds before you can close the rear hood for all the vapor to disappear. So that's just a safety feature that's added on the car.
And I love that because it just warns you right about things.
Let's say you want to explore Africa and you leave your house here and you forgot to put this car on charge. Like every supercar, you need to have a trickle charger on to keep the car alive. Let's say you forgot it on this car. You travel and we notice the battery gets very low. We will contact you. So you can send a friend over here and put it on charge. So no batteries get destroyed.
You know, what's also very helpful with that is now the Koenigsegg app, which just lets me know what my battery percentage is.
True, you can see that in the app also. But when you're in Africa and the jungle there, you don't have any coverage.
Exactly.
But how did we call you then?
Well, you still get mail, right?
Exactly. No, so also the setup, we have changed also here, let's see, transport mode.
There it is, okay.
So the transport, you press yes here, and the car will make nose, let's do it a little bit shorter. So if you press this transport mode button, yes, the car knows it's being transported. It will disable the alarm, it will keep the car lifted up. So it's easier to tie it down, and also when you drive up a ramp or your truck driver drives it off so they don't forget. Or if somebody tries to open the rear hood or something with a remote. So it will disable all that.
So much of what you need to do By the way, it's awesome that it has this touch screen
okay.
in an interface. Can really just be done from here, even the way that you move the seats up and down.
Yeah.
But let's talk about one of my favorite things, which you were explaining earlier, burnout mode.
Ah,
so
yeah,
how
okay.
do I do that?
So, you press the truck button, you want to be in track, and okay, hoods must be closed.
Because we're just basically crazy going, right?
So
we'll close that, yeah.
Is it closing?
Yeah.
All right. So I press the track mode button, and then you go OK. So you have a couple of settings here.
Yeah.
The power setting here, full power and endurance. That's all the strategy it uses, the high voltage battery. So if you're doing high power for longer difference, that's all the way it charges and discharges the high volt battery.
Yeah.
And if you want to do like a launch, you go here, for example, the drag strip, and then if you press this I here, it will take you through exactly what to do.
That's cool.
So you hold the brake pedal, you select the drive mode, and it will show up launch mode here in the display. And then within 5 seconds, you just give it full throttle and let go of the brake, and it takes off like a rocket. But if you want to really show off, you disable here the traction control. You got to hold it a couple of seconds. Then the car will not keep track of the traction of the rear wheels, and you can do burnouts. But be aware, the rear tires spin up in a half a second to 200 miles an hour, and you can destroy your tires in seconds. So you have to be a little bit careful. But you put a lot of fog behind you, I tell you that. You, I don't know, you've probably seen YouTube videos where it looks like fog of London or something. And then, but a car still uses electronic stability control to help you keep the car straight. But be aware, because if traction changes on the ground, your tires are spinning above 100 miles an hour, the car can still, you know, twerk away and things like that. So you should do it under controlled environment.
Well, one of the cool things that you guys have done is when you're looking at the power setting and you're going into track, and most cars don't have this, right? Is the option to choose full power or endurance. And if you're doing just, you want to show off what the power of the car is, and you're just doing a few laps, that's perfect, right? But if you're going lap after lap and you're going endurance, it's incredible to have that, because now you're tuning the car for that.
And you can also press the I here, and you get a better description exactly what the car is doing. So it's been very thought through, the whole thing. And if you leave the car like this and turn it off, it always will revert into sport mode.
I've noticed that.
So whatever you do, it always revert back to standard sport mode, so no accidents appear. Because right now the car is so low, and if you drive around here on the roads, you're going to hit something.
For sure.
And then you have the sport mode, like the regular mode, and then comfort mode.
And I can feel the car lifting back
it raises, and it's so soft. It's like driving around an air ride car, like a limousine almost, the way it behaves on the road. And then you have the wet snow. So always when it rains, not so much snow around here, I guess, you should use that mode, because it raises the angle of attack of the rear wing. So you get more downforce and pressure on the rear wheels. Since the tires are so wide on the car, it's very easy to get aquaplaning and stuff like that. But with the additional pressure on the tires, you can still drive around very safe. And also the traction control reacts a lot earlier. So you will notice that when you drive around with that in wet, you can't give too much throttle. It will take it down a little bit. So the car will be a lot more stable.
Cool.
Maybe start it.
It's going down. I was just about to say that.
The reason the car starts so quickly when you crank it is because you have such a powerful starter motor. It's more than 200 horsepower, so it just twerks it going.
Absolutely.
That's why he instantly starts. You don't hear any hesitation.
No.
He just
There's
goes,
no like,
boom.
and then it starts up.
No. It doesn't crank anything. It's just instantly on. That's pretty cool.
It is incredible for sure.
But you need a lot of technology for that as well.
Yeah.
Because when you have such a powerful electric motor on the crank, you gotta watch that, because you can snap stuff off in the engine if you don't do that under controlled environment.
Yeah.
So the car is sensing the amount of torque the electric motor gives to the crank constantly. So it comes with the revolutions of the engine and follows it up constantly. Because you can't have the electric motor braking the engine or the other way around.
For sure.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, and we've just crossed over 2,000 miles on this.
Oh yeah, congratulations. 2,000 miles back as a daily driver. That's good work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so clean and nice, everything.
It does.
It looks
even
new.
The carbon here, no, I really maintain it well.
Yeah.
Right, you have to.
But like in our cars, Christian doesn't allow any other materials like aluminium, metal, or carbon or leather. Yeah. So we don't have any plastics and stuff.
I know.
Of course, there's going to be some plastics on lights and things like that. You have to, but because glass is too heavy.
For the most part.
But everything here, what you feel is like real metal. And if you look inside here, you see this is all metal plates lined up. So when you move them backwards and forwards like this, it's all aluminum plates in there.
It's incredible.
And also the door hinges here, it's an artwork, so it's called dihedral synchro helix actuated doors. It opens the door and pushes it out at the same time in a helix motion. That's why they're called that way. And this has been developed and fine-tuned over the years, the whole thing. So the whole hinge is also like work of art, and there are no parts of the car where you can see also inside everything looks perfect. You look in here, it's all polished carbon on places where you normally never look. So this is hydraulics for the that pushes the door open. So this is a hydraulic piston. So you save some of the weight inside there because you don't need a steel spring and things like that. So now you only have hydraulic fluid inside that presses the piston backwards and forwards. And the oil is lighter than the steel spring, for example.
So Christian, any other features of this car that we haven't talked about? Or any secret hidden features?
Well, it has all the features of a regular car.
Yeah.
You have the full-blown air conditioning. You have a stereo. You have the Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
You connect your phone. You have two chargers
Wireless
phones, wireless phones. You have two of them. One for the co-driver, one for the driver. We call it double charge, baby. And you see on the lights here if you're charging or not charging. So, and also here in this, you have a center console here where you can put small things. You have double cup holders, of course. And as you know, the Regera has 8 cup holders. Cup holders are important.
Yeah, very important.
And the reason also for cup holders,
I don't have to make a post to Koenigsegg to put cup holders in my car.
But the cup holders is also not only for cups, because usually you put all kind of crap in a cup holder. You can put your car keys, you put small things, you put change for toll booths. It's all kind of things you put in there. And that's why also the Regera are getting many of them, because in some of them you're going to have all this crap, and then when you finally have your drink, you have nowhere to put it.
Yep.
Yeah. So all cars should have cup holders.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. And what do we have more? Yeah. I don't know what to. Yeah, and you can change all the colors here on the LEDs. Of
Oh,
course.
really? How do you do that? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
So now
awesome.
you have red. So
That's badass.
so people usually put the same color they have on the
Yeah,
car. On the
I love
LEDs.
that.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Okay.
So and then yeah, of course there's irregular lights for everything. Here you can choose the wing always up or down. Rear wing in low drag mode. So if you do a lot of straight line super fast driving, you can put in low drag mode, so it doesn't fight the wind too much. If you want to go super fast speeds, that's what that one is for. And that's regular, how do you call it that in English? The light, main beam.
Yeah,
Main beam. Yeah.
So just
And that's
regular
parking
beams,
light.
and then there's high beams, and then the parking lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I actually never knew how to turn on the parking lights.
Okay.
In this car.
And these outer race windows at high speeds, so if you get above 65, I'm thinking, or 70, it will raise the windows automatically if you have that on. This is if you want to fold the mirrors or not when you turn off the car. This passive keyless entry, if you have a key on, you just can walk up to the car and press the button, it will open the door.
Yeah.
Do you think the water is trying to tell us something here?
I think so. I think it's time, and it's just got detailed too.
And we actually got wet in the car.
Yeah.
So maybe we should call it this time?
I think it's time to create a part 2, cut this one, and part 2, we'll go try all the cool stuff, and we'll do it in an open environment, maybe a racetrack, and actually see what this car is capable of. So we'll do that in the second video. Chris, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah,
I
of
appreciate
course, man.
you, brother. You're the best. I've
Nice
learned
to meet
so
you.
much about this car
From
you. Thank you for coming out, and pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, likewise,
It was so
likewise.
nice.
Yeah, I will be back.
We will be back.